Hello, heroes. Thank you all for tuning in to episode 35 of the Nexus podcast. As always, I am your host, Adam Eastwood, and boy, have we got a lot of news this week with a patch dropping for you. We have our time-altering... Wow, I messed that one up. Our lower-loving time-altering gamer, David Troy's back.
Hey everybody, we've got more news than you can shake a stick at, and trust me, some of the nerfs that came through, I could shake my stick at. So we got a lot to talk about today.
We have Blizzard and eSport enthusiast, Ben Blazik.
Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's enjoying their fine Friday, and everybody who's in the alpha currently is enjoying the patch and forming their own opinions on it.
And the amazing Josh Williams.
That's me! How's everyone doing tonight on this Friday evening? It's about, 70 maybe outside. I don't go outside, so I'm just trying to talk.
No, I stay inside with the AC on. No matter, if it's above 80, I have the AC on.
Heck, if it's about 60 for me, I'm like, man, it's too hot.
So, Ben, what have you been up to this week in gaming?
Pretty standard. Been PvPing in WoW still, playing Heroes of the Storm. And just kind of keeping it really straightforward, not doing anything too exciting. Other than the fact that I feel like Heroes doesn't really like to cooperate with me. I'm still not pulling maps for some reason. Like, I'm getting constant Blackheart's Bay and randomly Dragonshire, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Yeah.
So,
Josh, what have you been doing?
Same thing as Ben. PvP. I've been getting into arenas more, trying to get that mount for 100 wins. I think I'm at 28, and I just started, so I feel good about that. And now with the patch out, playing Heroes of the Storm, and that's about it. That's all I've been playing. Loving it.
Pretty quick, easy stuff we've been doing over the past couple of weeks. Like you said, kind of Heroes of the Storm kind of back in the rotation, like heavily now. So, David, same for you? Anything else?
Well, actually, I got a full week of raiding in WoW for the first time in ages, so got to spend both nights with my raid team, Salad Senate, Airy Peak. But spent really most of the week in Hearthstone up until the patch, so we got a chance to jump into Curse of Naxxramas, the adventure mode. So got through the heroic modes on that pretty straightforward. I ran into some issues with the last heroic boss, but managed to work your way through it. It's a cool puzzle to figure out, but not impenetrable. I got some new cards, checked out the new meta in Hearthstone, and then the last couple days jumped back into Heroes, got a chance to play a little Rehgar, and I got a chance to play with Fim from Hotscast earlier on today. So I had some fun getting back into leveling and earning XP again in Heroes.
No, I've been pretty much the same as you, minus the raiding. I didn't do any raiding this week. I did play some Hearthstone because I really wanted to kind of get into Curse of Naxxramas. It's a lot of fun. I haven't got through the heroic modes yet, as I haven't even attempted them because I'm just nervous about going into them. My decks aren't the greatest in that. Now, are you somebody who saved up your gold and you're gonna spend gold on the next wings, or are you gonna just drop the $20? I know you like free to play to stay free, but are you willing to put money in to open up wings?
I didn't really save my gold. I was trying to build my decks as much as possible when we were going through the Saturday Night Showdown. So I was going to arena a lot. So I'm really kind of just grinding a lot, trying to keep ahead of the 700 gold. So I think I'm about 400 right now. So I'm gonna see how it goes. I mean, I really it's not like buying a skin to me. I think it's like buying content. It's like a monthly subscription. I do feel a little bit like I'm buying cards though, so I'm really trying not to, but I am willing to get it if need be. And I mean, if you're worried about heroic mode too, to be honest, I ended up beating the main boss with my priest deck, which has nothing. It's really just sort of the straightforward cards. I just went heavily heals on it. So
yeah, for me, I'm gonna be spending that $20 easy.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I want to give them money and say, hey, thank you. Here's money.
If you listen to the latest Realm Maintenance, Ro does math of how many pack of cards you can get for that amount of money and that gold, and he said it's best to do the $20 because you can get more pack of cards with that much gold that they're saying.
Yeah, no, it does make a lot of sense, and it makes sense from a practical point of view. I think I just now crossed the line from it being a principle to being a zealot on not spending any money on a free-to-play game, because now it's I can understand it, I can see it, but there's still something in my head that's saying you're paying for cards. I'm like, I can't. I'm only going to do it if it's the last possible thing.
Don't you want to support Blizzard and all their hard work?
I do want to support them. And that's why I kind of feel bad not doing it. However, I pay my WoW subscription.
There you go.
Even when
They
you
give you that
play.
option.
I've paid for StarCraft and Diablo, which I never play. So I feel like I do support them. So.
Yeah, you know what's
Hey,
funny?
yeah.
We found a Target gift card for $30 in my house. That was like a birthday present for me, and I'm like, you know what? We'll spend that on stuff we can buy for the house, and then I didn't feel guilty spending $20 on Hearthstone. 'Cause I'm like, well, I put money that was supposed to be a birthday present into Target, and now I get my Hearthstone.
That makes sense.
Yay.
That's good. Yeah.
But then I have to spend another 20 to get my wife it, because it's not going to be fair if I have it and she doesn't.
Oh yeah. How's she liking it? I know she was playing before, right?
She's been playing a ton. Like I kind of helped her out a little bit with Warlock deck, and she kind of remade her Mage deck, and she's been winning a bunch. And she's having a little trouble with the content for Nax Ramis, but that's basically because she really has just really basic cards at this point, and she'll get a couple more cards and then she'll be fine. I play my Hunter deck a lot in that because it's very anti-minion, and it feels like those three are very minion-heavy decks that you're fighting in Hearthstone.
Yeah, I went Shaman for the first two bosses on normal and heroic, and then I went Zulok on the normal Myexna, and then Priest on heroic Myexna.
Cool. I might have to. My Priest deck is pretty well set, so I probably end up using that if that's what you had to go with. Cause
yeah, I just healed like crazy through it. That was basically it. So.
Okay, well, I guess that's it for this week in gaming. So we're going to kind of go right into kind of our news. We kind of went off topic of Heroes because Hearthstone has been pretty big this week. But, that's the great thing about our show. It's about Heroes of Storm, which is about everything Blizzard. So we can talk about whatever we want.
Exactly.
So kind of the quick news this week is we did get the skin preview for Frostworm Arthas and Big Top Gazlowe. So let's talk about Frostworm Arthas. First thing that came to my mind when I saw this is what a master skin for Arthas should have looked like.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad someone else feels this way.
Yep. That was the first thing that came to my mind, and I'm glad. Ben, you saying that you agreed with me makes me feel like I'm not crazy. Josh, being the kind of the Arthas player of the group, do you feel that way as well, or do you feel like it's just another really cool skin?
I just felt it was a very awesome skin. I didn't think of it being as a master skin because to me it seems like the trend of the master skins was altering the current skin that they already have. That's what it seems like the trend is to me. I could be completely over my head. I'm not very artistic, so maybe I'm not seeing it. But other than that, I absolutely love the skin, and I can't wait for it to be added to the game. Only thing that's funny, I don't know what it is with Blizzard lately, but they've been liking to add horns to the belt buckles. Did you guys notice that? Mm-hmm. Like in the latest Death Knight Tier 17 for Warcraft, they have horns coming out of the buckles. It's like, what's up with that?
David, what are your thoughts on Frostworm Arthas?
The problem with Arthas, right, is that he's so iconic looking to start. And he's so cool looking to start that it's like, when you go into the store and you go into Walmart and it's like they've got like Batman action figures, but of course they can't just sell the kid like one $8 Batman action figure. You need like surfing Batman action figure and like you need like scuba diving Batman action figure, and you look at it and you're like, this is just wrong. Like that's not Batman. He shouldn't be blue with a scuba mask. Mm-hmm. And it's like that's kind of how I feel about the Arthas skins. It's like, yeah, okay, well, he's got horns in this one. He's got like dragon stuff in this one. And it's just like it's all kind of just like, okay, like I kind of just like the regular Arthas. Like it's it's a hard one for them to do because they can't have beach party Arthas. Really, right?
I buy it.
I know I buy it, but I was like one of the first people on one of the original shows. I think like I was talking about like don't mess with like the really big lore characters for stupid ones, but maybe they kind of got to because all these Arthas skins. It's like there's Arthas with his helmet on, and there's slight variations of it. And then there's Arthas without his helmet on, and there's slight variations of it. Maybe it's time to branch out.
Maybe. So for the next one, let me just kind of start with a little story. So this guy, we'll call him Adam. He finds a hero that he thoroughly enjoys, Gazlowe. And he plays Gazlowe a lot, but everybody else gets skins for all the characters. And then finally they announce Big Top Gazlowe. And Adam, quotation marks, it's definitely not me, has a horrible irrational fear of clowns. And every time he looks at this skin, he wants to run away, which leads to him not being able to get a skin for his favorite character. How disappointing would that be for this friend of mine?
That is by far the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Well, you know what, Adam? It shouldn't be that bad because I have an irrational fear of 12-foot tall bugs, but I still play Zagara.
Nope. Every time I saw that skin, I hit play, and all I can think of is that thing's gonna kill me in my sleep. Let me get away. Like it's so ridiculous. Like I believe that is actually true irony, not just coincidence.
I totally dug the skin. I thought it was an amazing skin. I like the freaky, scary clown thing. Like I like it precisely for the reasons you didn't. I like the kind of terrifying like Simpsons headboard clown thing. The little Gazlowe looking guy for some reason reminded me. I don't know if you've seen the movie Big Fish. Reminded me of like Danny DeVito and Big Fish.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. Like I really dug the skin, and I think I even said that we were talking about it earlier on. It's like I think it's like one of, again, if I played Gazlowe, which the way my Witch Doctor is going right now is not out of the question. That's a skin again I would pay, but again it's just not a guy I play. So, but I thought it was fantabulous.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing the artistic merit or the high quality textures that we're getting with the skin. Just the fact that I don't physically think I could play it, having to look at it constantly as we're playing the game.
Maybe it will help you overcome your fear because you're using it to destroy your enemies.
Yeah, I am 30 years old. If I haven't gotten over it yet, I don't think it's going to happen.
You know what you need to do is you need to watch the movies.
Adam. It hasn't gone over it yet. It's not going to happen.
Well, Adam needs to watch the movie Stephen King's It repeatedly until he gets over the fear of clowns.
It's that and Killer Clowns from Outer Space is what really did it in for me as a kid. So
really?
Yes.
Are you scared of tomatoes?
No.
Okay.
Wow. That hurts. It hurts.
Yeah, sorry, man.
Right in the heart.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry, had to say it.
So we saw more stuff about skins. We saw the beginning of the Master Skin reveals with the Arthur's, Falstad, Lily, and Stitches that we did talk about last week. We got a whole bunch more. We got StarCraft, Warcraft, and Diablo. So I see a trend here, and I could just be crazy because I'm seeing it on maybe half of them. Is it me, or is like every one of these Master Skins giving a hero either a mohawk or a horn in the front of their head, all this like stuff kind of straight down the top of their head? Have you guys noticed this, or am I just like nuts?
I can speak to that. So I don't know if anybody ever saw this. I used to watch the Jace Hall show, okay, which was a web show. And there were segments from the Jace Hall show where they went to Blizzard, and they went to each different section of dev teams on Blizzard, and there was like hidden jokes with each team. When they did the StarCraft one, okay, and this was before StarCraft came out, all right, so it was a big thing to kind of see StarCraft footage. One of the jokes from one of the guys on the team, like, they were talking about how they can really break apart the game, monetize it, and make as much money as possible. And one of the guys had a mohawk sitting at the desk. And he was like, what about Protoss mohawks? And he starts rubbing his mohawk. He's like, yeah, man, if we can get like a couple dozen of these in the game, we'll make so much money.
Yeah, I can see that. Because it's like, was it Abathur gets a mohawk, Diablo has a horn and it kind of goes back a little bit. Obviously, Falstad got his mohawk. I'm trying to think. It even almost looks like Illidan has a mohawk with his hair going back the way that it does. I know that's like classic Illidan hair, but the way it looks to me, it's like that kind of center, thing there. And even kind of the helmet that they put on Kerrigan has that kind of faux hawk look where it kind of points to the center. So it was kind of weird for me when I was looking through all of them. Josh, what are your thoughts on the Master Skins that they did show?
I like them a lot. Vala, I would say, is probably my favorite. I think she looks awesome. I don't play her, but I think she looks great. But with the horns and mohawk, I wanted to say, think about it. Who's more badass in battle? People with horns and mohawks. You gotta watch out for those guys. But I mean, I like them. I like that they're adding something like this to the game. And my one friend brought up a good point about he's hoping that they do some master skins for your mounts too, because that would be awesome. But I'm excited to see this, and hopefully they come out with alterations of them so you can unlock other types of master skins, like Master Skin 1 or Master Skin 2, you know?
But the different colors are pretty awesome. Like anyone that's in alpha, I would recommend going in and messing with the color changes, because they're definitely like Master Skin color changes I think are better than the original. And you can go in and just view them, which is pretty cool. David, what are your thoughts on those?
I mean, yeah, I agree with you to a certain extent that some of them are a little like, yeah, just add a couple horns here. I mean, it's hard when you just have giant bugs. I mean, what can you do with them? I did kind of like Zagara's kind of webbed feet kind of feel to it. It kind of, although it reminded me a little bit, she kind of ended up looking like a merry-go-round a little bit. Like all she needed was like little horses on each of her feet, and then, but the ones I really really liked. I agree. Vala, I think, is very cool. Like the whole, anytime you get like a skull mask, it's gonna look good. I thought Tyrande looked very, very good. I thought that was an excellent looking skin. Same with Uther, although we'd seen Uther before, so it wasn't as much of a surprise.
Right.
Diablo kind of made the horn thing work, but you know he's a demon, so I'd expect it's the least I could expect from him. The one that really knocked me over, and especially because it's a character I like to play, was Tassadar. Thought Tassadar looked amazing. Really excited to have that skin.
Yeah, his color changes were the ones that I think I really saw, and I was like, man, the recolors are just awesome. Like I was so like blown away by the way the recolors worked.
Yeah, and maybe just because of the nature of Protoss, that it wasn't going to be horns and spikes and stuff like that. Like the fact that it's kind of got this like funky, you know, futuristic kind of smoother look to it. I think that's what really got me going for it.
And Ben, it sounded like you were going to kind of interject and say something.
Oh no, I was giving David crap for talking on Uther, but you know, I thought honestly, of course, I thought Aether looked really good, but we've seen that before. I thought Murden looked really good. I don't know what it was. I really like the style that they chose for Murden, which makes me want to play him again.
And the two weapons really look awesome as well.
Especially like when you go through and like when you're in the client and you're looking at the different colors, like the black and red one looks really good on Murden. I think Diablo makes his work pretty well. Tassadar looked great. Wasn't really feeling Arthas. But it is what it is. And even Illidan looked pretty decent. Yes. So,
and one that they didn't show off in these, but obviously with him coming out, they actually did have him, is Rehgar. They did have his master skin in there too. Obviously missing is Tyrael. I was kind of disappointed we're not getting a Tyrael master skin. Or just yet. We're going to get him, but he's just not here yet.
He's a secret.
Yeah, like I was really hoping that's the one I really wanted to see. And then Zeratul as well. I think those two are the two I kind of wanted to see the most.
I have a feeling those ones are going to be really awesome.
I hope so.
Yeah, they're missing Witch Doctor and Sergeant Hammer as well, which I think...
Sergeant Hammer I think is going to be the hardest.
Gonna be tough. Yeah, it should just be the Batmobile.
Oh, God. That would be so amazing.
No.
And I got to say, I don't know if I didn't hear it, but I also thought Kerrigan looked really, really good. I really liked Kerrigan's. Like, she just looked more like someone I would not want to mess with even more.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm kind of mixed on that. I think she looks more Zergy, like she looks less human, and I think that's kind of cool. But it might take me a few more looks at it before I decide I can really make a full decision on her. What do you guys think of the 10,000 gold price that's put on them? You think that's a good price? Too much? Too little?
It's not real money, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
It's less real money than all the other ones, so I'm cool with it. I have no problems.
Yeah.
I like it because it's just another gold sink for you guys, for you to, if you really like that character and you're just playing that character, more than likely you'll have that gold by the time you get maxed out. So, I mean, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, and I think that does it for Master Skins. I'm excited to see. They said in the coming weeks, so hopefully we get Tyrael soon. I'm going to be really grinding out Tyrael to get up to that Master Skin level, so I can like have his Master Skin the day it comes out. That's like my new kind of hero's goal at this point. So I'm excited for that. And it is Hero Week for Rehgar, Shaman of the Earth and Ring. So before we kind of even mention Rehgar, how wrong were all of us last week?
I was just going to mention that. And I
Yes.
absolutely love the fact that we were all completely wrong. We're talking about stuff that we saw at BlizzCon and this and that, and then they throw a wild card in the mix. I thought that was amazing.
I think it's
Yeah.
great that they did that. You know, we've pretty much predicted the heroes as they were coming, because of like the teasers are like, oh, we'll get him and then her and then them, but now it's like they're like, oh, you think you're gonna get Chen or Kilthas or Nubarakot? Here, take Rehgar. And then the Rehgar trailer was just, I thought, amazing with all like like you could see so many different heroes in there, which was really cool. Josh really pointed out to me the what was it, like Chen and being in there a bunch of times, and somebody else too.
I think Bullet made a comment on Twitter about it.
Yeah. Oh, was it Bullet or yeah? It was Bullet.
Yeah, I think it was Bullet
it was
mentioned it,
Bullet.
yeah.
Yep. Sorry, Bullet. I gave Josh the credit. I think Josh pointed
I was
out.
about to correct you.
I was gonna say, Josh, you pointed something out though. Or was it Ben?
That was Ben. He pointed something out about
Cho'Gall.
like Kerrigan blows somebody up.
Yeah. No,
No,
Nova
no.
blew up Cho'Gall.
Yeah, but that was in one of the original gameplay trailers that I pointed out because Bullet was pointing out. Or no, wait,
I'm so confused now.
I don't know. We pointed out Chen, Anubercon, and Cho'Gall in a couple of the videos. So
Yeah, so it was pretty cool just to kind of see some more things in there. It's like, ooh, what's to come? Who has had a chance to play Rehgar?
I have.
Me.
What are your, without kind of going into details, we'll start with David and then Josh and then Ben. We'll kind of go through with three of you. What are your initial kind of first impressions of him?
I only got to play him a couple times, so I haven't actually gotten to play him with the build where you go super heals. He, to me, is the definition of a support character. All of his skills are really support-based, all around healing and buffing and buffing the whole group. It's not really my style of play, so I couldn't really get into it. I think it would be a really good hero for someone who's kind of leading the team. If you're a 5-man team and you have someone sort of leading and in charge, I think that would probably be a really great hero for them because, doing it right, you've got a lot of control over sort of the to use a Hearthstone term, the tempo of the game, with things like Bloodlust and also, the shield and controlling the healing. So I think it would be really a great role for someone like that. However, I did really feel a little helpless. Like I did feel like I wasn't really dictating, the moment by moment part of the game because I don't have those big damage abilities. It's not all about healing. I felt a little bit peripheral, I guess would be the term.
And Josh, your thoughts?
I love him. My main in Warcraft is an Orc Shaman, Restro. So this guy is, as David was saying, total support. You can't really get in there and DPS with him. I've tried. It doesn't work. He's too squishy, it seems like. But you can do damage. You just gotta make sure you know when to back out. Since you have instant mount, basically, it makes it a little easy unless people are behind you, since you're melee. But I really like him. I really do. Like I said, my main's an Orc Resto Shaman, so I'm glad they added him. And I can't wait. I'm only like level 3, and I think I hit it and then didn't play, so I just unlocked all the talents. I think 3's all the unlocks. I forget. But at least I know I got more talents, so I can't wait to get in there and get in with the healing tree more.
And Ben.
So I think his kit is extremely unique. As David pointed out, he's not really. He doesn't have any bursty abilities. He's not really in there to get in somebody's face and do a lot of whole damage. But I only got to play him a couple times, but I was kind of using him like an interceptor because he's really fast on his feet. So he's a high mobile support champion. And I was going in wolf form and always in wolf form when I wasn't attacking a minion wave. So I had that down, and I'm running at champions trying to run away and throwing the totem down behind them. So that way they're slowed, and then just kind of intercepting and then popping heals as my team catches up. So I can definitely see a lot of different uses for him. Not sure how I feel about his heals right now, especially with one of his heroic abilities being the major heal. But the chain healing was kind of nice for a change. It was really interesting to see an actual shaman in play in the game, and I'm finally glad that we actually are just getting a taste of that now. So definitely very unique. I need to play him a little bit more to kind of get more of an opinion, but he's very interesting. So
Yeah, I too just got. I think I got one game in with him. So you know what? All I had was Bloodlust as my my choice for the heroic talent, and I liked him. He was fun. I thought, and maybe it's just because you have to get the other talents. I was expecting him to be a little more like aggressive. The ability to kind of go in there and be more aggressive, but it might be the talents that they give you early are more towards the back end support. Kind of hang back support type of thing, and then later on you kind of can open up those more aggressive talents and try it that way. So, you probably, I think it's level 4 is when you finally get all your talents, because you get the advanced talents at 3, and then all the rest of them at level 4 for your hero. And we'll kind of talk about our feelings on how that worked out once we kind of start going over the patch. Any final thoughts on Rehgar? I think in the next week or two we'll actually have our full hero spotlight on him once we really all get a little more hands-on gameplay with him.
I think if you're really looking for the whole like chain lightning elemental shaman feel, you're gonna have to wait for someone like Thrall, because this guy's definitely support.
Exactly. And then I will give a little tip. Since you're going to play him, you're going to be heals, of course. Do the lightning shield that when you put it onto somebody, it casts it onto you too, because when you chain heal eventually with a talent, people who have a lightning shield get a bonus heal. So it can increase the heal to you and the person you put that on, if they're close enough, of course, for the chain heal to come back to you.
Oh, nice. That's pretty. I haven't even played him enough to kind of think of that type of stuff. So that's pretty cool. And we're gonna get in. We're gonna play him over the next week or two, and then really do like a proper kind of spotlight on him. Talk about his abilities, talent, stuff like that. So let's kind of go into the big news. The patch. There's a lot of changes that we saw. One big change was the battleground. We talked about it last week, the Garden of Terror. I didn't get to play it. I think I played like 8 or 9 games, and we just got it back last night by the time I got back from work. So we didn't get much time to play. Have any of you guys got Garden of Terror yet?
Once.
You are now the expert of the group, Josh, because I have not gotten it yet either. So you can tell us. It could be all lies if you want. We'll believe it.
I went in there, and there's this big monster named David, and he spoke about like this, like he's like, hey, and talked about hockey all the time. Like,
cool.
What's that about? That's what he said.
All right, good,
Beautiful.
good.
And then I heard the rumor that once at the end of the game, if he wins, he goes, "I'm sorry."
I'm sorry. And when if he kills you, he's like, I'm sorry. But no.
That'd be annoying really quick. Yeah. With the amount of times you die, John.
Oh, snaps! You got me, you jerk. I like it's unique. It's fun. I like it. Like I said, only once, and I wish. Ben said at the beginning of the show, I wish it would get in rotation more. I'm surprised they don't have that up on the whatever it picks the map behind the scenes, because it's really cool. You get in there, 3 lanes, and then you're just fighting, killing each other like normal, and then it's like announcers like 30 seconds to nighttime, and then you see a little thing on the right side and it shows you night coming. Then when it turns night, sorry, I just read chat. I do need some aloe for that burn. But once it turns nighttime, these horrors spawn, and you can fight them, and they drop these little seedlings, and you collect the seedlings, and you have to collect up to 100. Once you collect up to 100, you go back to your base where there's a plant pot, and you can click on that, and then you turn into this horror. Nice thing about it is that you can go over 100. The enemy team doesn't drop them if they die, as far as I've seen, but you can go over 100, and so you can collect a lot the first time, and then you don't need as much. And once I gotta stop reading chat.
But it's so entertaining.
I know. But once you get that, It's really cool. It's fun. It's unique. Once you get the hunters and have that guy come up and he can like put vines around the towers and stuff like that. I didn't get to play him, but I saw him do a bunch of cool stuff. So I can't wait till they let us play it more.
Yeah, and the Q&A that we got, you actually got to see it played, which has been pretty much the only thing I've seen. And I thought it was pretty cool how they put the vines out, and they actually had Abathur kind of become him, because kind of like what I've tried to do with Dragonshire is you take the weakest kind of upfront damage dealer and put him in there so he's really powerful, so he has a good support team around him. And I thought they did a really good job kind of showcasing the map in Rehgar as part of the show match we got after the Q&A. So, okay, so let's go ahead and we'll start talking about kind of the changes that we saw here in the patch. So let's get it out of the way. Let's talk about the new leveling system for heroes. I for one feel as though the biggest thing, and because it's a tech alpha, it was expected. I went from having all Tyrael's recolors to having none of his recolors, so it was really rough for me because I love playing with the either the green or the purple demonic Tyrael, and I didn't have it. Now I know I really can't, I have no room to complain because it is an alpha, but I would have almost rather a full wipe and starting from scratch than to get little things taken away from me. At this point in an alpha, be like, okay, well, let me test everything from the start. That's how we'll do it. I think I tried Rehgar, so I started kind of that level system where you don't get your talents right away with everybody, and I can see what they're trying to test out. Do I think it's going to stay in? I don't think so. I think there's too much outcry against it, and if people aren't liking it, it's not fun. I think Blizzard is going to listen. Anyone have any thoughts about the new leveling system now that we've got our hands on it?
Man, I had like 10 hours worth of comments. Let's do this.
Okay, go.
No, I'm not going to talk for 10 hours. Come on, guys. Personally, any of this goes back to everything we talked about previously. Having the hero itself with its functionality, you need the entire kit. All right? Granted, we're in a genre with all these other titles. It's not as crowded as like card games, but the genre itself is becoming more crowded. So we don't want all of them to be the same. I get that. That's fine. And we want options for people. However, the talent system is kind of like our options. I don't, which goes into that whole aspect. I don't see why we have to unlock those pieces. Like, it just doesn't, for whatever, in my mind, it doesn't jive right. When I was playing and I'm looking at, I went from Uther, I had everything unlocked for Uther, complete, and did, well over like 100 and something games with Uther. And then I jump into Rehgar and my options are so limited. I wanted to play the game where I didn't take Bloodlust, but I couldn't do that because it wasn't unlocked. Well, essentially now I'm at an unfair advantage versus another Rehgar who happened to play the game a lot more than I did for the past couple of days, and so now he has that and I don't. I should have the same capabilities as that other guy. There should be no differences between him and I, period.
Other than him maybe getting more practice, but yeah, that's understandable. That's the skill portion of the game.
Exactly. If he is a better player than me and he outplays that champ or hero, fine, so be it. Congratulations, you were the better player. You should not have better capabilities than me just because I'm a lower level. The hero kits themselves need to be inclusive with everything, and then we'll talk about cosmetics, mount skin. The way it was before, I actually did not mind that. It's over 100 games from the old system to unlock everything for a hero. And I did that as Uther. I remember doing that long grind to get over 100 games as Uther to get everything. And I actually didn't mind that. All the cosmetic things were kind of like, hey, this is kind of nifty. This is cool. And then I was sitting there thinking, man, when they release the master skin for Uther, that's going to be awesome because I'm already going to be right here. And now I'm not even close.
I kind of wish I had done the math out because you can and see how many games on average it would take to get from 1 to 10 and see if it's somewhere in the same realm, because obviously now that before was just games played, now it's actual XP. So I wonder if they've kind of balanced it out to a point where it's maybe 1 to 8 is what the max was before, and now 9 and 10, the master skin, you need to get some extra levels.
And even then,
the math will be interesting.
The XP's even pushed now because I was like a sliver away from 39, and I was all the way back to the beginning of 38.
Yes.
So I don't know. Granted, it's Blizzard's spin on the genre. I get that. I respect that. Fine. However, I don't think that it needs to be like every other thing in their arsenal where you have to unlock everything and you have to level up everything. Player levels is one thing. Hero levels is entirely something different. With this type of game and what it is, I don't think it belongs in the realm. It's an arena game. Arena games, everybody needs to have the same capabilities. If Josh and I are both Destruction Warlocks and we go 1v1 against each other, at level 90, we're going to have the same capabilities because we're both level 90. Period.
Except I win.
I don't know about that. But I don't know. I have a lot of opinions and comments, but I won't spend the whole hour talking about it. So.
well, we'll have plenty of episodes where we can kind of rehash and talk a little bit more. David, what are your thoughts about the new leveling system?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what Ben said. I mean, I can see them gating some of the talents for either the account level or the hero level. I don't see a lot of reason to do both. It kind of feels like it's a soft gating into versus mode. Like it's almost like they're kind of not coming out and stopping you from getting into versus, but kind of saying, hey, maybe you should practice or do co-op or something to earn XP to get these extra levels so you'll learn these heroes rather than just jump in. But to me, that kind of feels, like in Full Metal Jacket where they don't really punish Private Pile, but they just get everybody to beat him with soap. I mean, it's kind of like we're being encouraged to do that a little bit, which I don't know if that's a great community thing. It really sort of feels like that to me. It's like a soft gate, and I don't know how I feel about it yet. I haven't had enough time really leveling through it, and to be perfectly honest, we're not going to kind of naturally level through it, right? They haven't changed our account levels. Mm-hmm. We're still level 40, and so to me, I really don't mind it right now because I'm like, ooh, cool. It's like a new leveling thing I can do and spend time and feel like I'm progressing. But if I was level 1, I don't know if I'd feel as funky about it.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because now they're pushing you to play with your friends, obviously, and it's even more reason to play with your friends because now your heroes level faster as well. And if they're still doing the weekend bonuses, you're going to want to play on your weekends as well. So now it's like weekends and friends are even more important. Even then compared to winning, because if you play on a weekend with some friends, you actually get double XP, and winning gets you now 50,000 XP, I believe. That was also a change that was out there. Josh, what are your thoughts kind of on the leveling system before we kind of move on to the next part of the patch?
I agree with Ben on the aspect of I shouldn't have to level up to unlock more talents, because that part does make it unfair in the aspect that I'm not going to have the same kit as the other people. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's my main gripe about it, is that aspect. I didn't really have any heroes that were like maxed out, so I mean, I didn't lose really much of anything except for some skin colors unlocks. But I totally hate the fact that I don't have everything for Rehgar yet. Mm-hmm. And I'm level 3, and they said, oh, those first couple levels will go by fast, and I haven't really noticed them going by fast. I mean, most of the games I've played I've lost, unfortunately. But it's taken a while to get there. Like I said, I just hit level 3. So I just wish they would. I don't know. I can see them like the way it was before, where since we're not low level, I don't know if that's still there, where you were like you had to hit like your account level 3 to unlock all the other talents for the other.
Yeah, like level 8. Yep.
Like that was fine with me. I didn't mind that at all. Mm-hmm. But individually like that, I don't like that myself. Mm-hmm.
It's almost like I know in League of Legends, anytime you got a new hero, everyone was like, "Oh, you need to go into verse the computer mode and practice that hero and learn the hero first." So, like Dave said, it's almost like they're forcing you to do that, because if you go into a versus mode without all the abilities, you're going to be feeling gimped.
Yep.
which isn't good. You know, feeling weak is not a good thing. So.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair too to Blizzard, I mean, they could just be playing around with stuff. I mean, it is the technical alpha. I mean, this may not be their, you know, I think a lot of people are freaking out, and this may not be what they want to see. Maybe they're saying, okay, well, we tried account leveling, now we're going to throw this in, but we don't want to get people mad who worked all the way to level 40, so maybe we're just going to throw this in. And then really, I mean, there's a third level of leveling, which is the artifacts, which we're going to get into. So they may just be kind of throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks and what stinks.
Yep.
You know, I mean, that's part of it too. I mean, we can't assume that this is going to be the final product.
You know, I like the idea of it being levels opposed to games played with the heroes, because if you get into a group and you're playing well and you're playing with friends, you can actually, I would bet that you'd be able to blow through levels a little quicker than just games played, and I like that. I'm probably will have to figure out some math and be like, okay, to go from 1 to 10, it's this much XP, and then figure out how many games would that be on average. 'Cause I'm getting, you know, on average like 100,000. So, with that, sorry, if you want to say one more thing.
Well, I was just gonna say, I'm gonna try, hopefully make this quick, but I guess the direction that the development has gone in the alpha. Again, it's alpha. Everything is likely going to change. I get it, but the way the development cycle for this game feels like to me right now is that we're trying to develop ways to keep the user playing the game and unlocking stuff to progress through the game. Maybe I'm a different breed of gamer and I come from a day that's like dead and gone, but I remember playing games just to play them. Like, I want to play Heroes with a team to play Heroes, to beat other teams, period. I don't play to unlock stuff and have fancy shiny stuff. I play to smash somebody's face in a virtual reality. And so I feel like all we're trying to do is develop content and ways for people to unlock and progress to keep them entertained. It's like, does nobody just play to play anymore? It's like we're only playing to unlock stuff because
no one plays to play anymore.
You know what it could be too is that while we're in this technical alpha and there's no rank mode, that's the feedback they're getting. You know, they're getting feedback that there's nothing to do, so they're like, but if there was a rank mode, they might be getting different feedback.
The game is what to do. Play the game.
Right, but I mean, but there's no way of like ranking, and that's what I like. Like, you know, what I'm saying that so that people are like, I can't see how I'm doing at this point, and people
I
like
get the
that.
whole,
You know,
Ben, I was just gonna say, Ben, I'm with you 100%. I played a game to have fun too, but working in the, I don't know if really called the video game industry, but a video game retailer, seeing the types of people that play games. They're not like us anymore. They are a short attention span. There's 100 million other games out there that they can play easily. And if they're not doing something in Heroes, they're going to go to another game and play. So Blizzard feels like they have to give them
something
a cookie. Yeah, like a cookie to play their game. And I mean, I can't blame Blizzard for doing that either. It's just the way that our gamer society is now, and it sucks because I'm like you. I play the game to have fun. I don't care about unlocking stuff. If I have something to unlock, awesome. If I don't, awesome again. I still play it. But that's what sucks about today's society. It's just such a short attention span on these games that they can just go over here, play this game, over here, play that game. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I mean, I'm what sucks about today's society, like in terms of motivate. Like that's how my incentives work when I'm playing games. Like I'm not going to play 50 million games, but on the other hand, and I will have to be having fun playing the game. That's the minimum. But I'm going to be, especially in a world where we've got World of Warcraft, a Blizzard world where we've got World of Warcraft and we've got Diablo and we've got Hearthstone and we've got Heroes. I've got to feel like I'm doing something with my time. My time's too precious for me to just kind of play for the fun of playing, because I have fun playing WoW and I have fun playing Hearthstone and I have fun playing this. So, I mean, right now, for me, it's like, oh, okay, I can get new cards with Hearthstone, and it's going to stick, and I know it's not going to get wiped. Whereas with Heroes right now, I mean, I love playing it, it's great, but I needed this to really invest time in it, to feel like I'm progressing. And without a ranked mode, but I mean, we are in a technical alpha still, so I mean, it's our motivations really if we're pure, should be testing, right? I mean, if we're, I mean, really, even when we're having fun just playing the game, our motivations we're not really pure. What they want us to be doing, which is testing the game, and what they may be doing right now is just like, you know what, we're just gonna, while we're in technical alpha and we got everybody testing it out and we got people to Q&A it, let's test out these different things that maybe if we want to bring it in later on, we know how to do it. Or maybe, you know, this is something that we can, you know, fix for ranking, you know, ranks, things like that. Like we might as well, if they want to change it later on, we might as well test out every different option now rather than later on. And because you know, in some kind of weird PTR, I mean, I don't think that's really going to happen. So when it's released.
For sure. So let's go ahead. We'll move on to artifacts. We did get a lot of information about artifacts after we kind of, you know, theorized what we thought they were going to be. A quick rundown of the system is you have 3 artifact slots. You have gem, relic, and trinket. Each of them have very specific things you can put into it, and you have to unlock those with gold. So I was wrong with that one.
Yes, you were.
It's straight up 100% gold unlock. You know, you can't pay real money
Gold
to get
sink.
It's a gold sink. But I did thoroughly enjoy, and I thank Blizzard for when I logged in and went to the shop and I saw the nice 107,000 gold available to me with the 75,000 gold they gave to 30 plus players. And everybody else, 20 to 29, got 35,000 gold, and 5 to 19 got 10. And with a full, well, so what you do is you upgrade them. So you start at rank 1 of a specific artifact and go up to 10. A full upgrade from 1 to 10 costs you 5,500 gold, I figured out, which isn't too bad, I think. Who would like to go first to talking about artifacts?
I guess I will, since everyone's being quiet.
Okay.
I like them more than I thought. I totally can tell this is not the final version of them at all, but I like that they're trying new stuff in the technical alpha phase. So I mean, like I said, I personally kind of dig them. I know a lot of people don't. That's fine. But I can't wait to see what comes from this. And like they said in the Q&A, if it just doesn't work out the way that they planned it, they'll just take it out of the game.
No,
since it's still alpha.
I've seen kind of just looking at the comments on the post about the artifact system. So many people hating it before even playing it, and people saying that they're never going to play the game because of it. Ben, is this like a make or break? If this is in the game, is this something that's going to stop you from playing the game? Because I know, if I remember, you're not a big fan of it. So is it going to stop you from playing the game if it's there, or do you... Is it that
stop
bad?
me from playing the game? I don't know personally if it's going to stop me, just because, you know, I have plans for the game. Everybody on the watches the show knows that I want to play on a team and do stuff. I know it will stop other people from playing. What my buddy Patrick messaged me on Steam as soon as the patch dropped and he got a chance to play it. He was like, I immediately hate it. I don't like it. I think they're trying to be too much like League of Legends, blah, blah, blah. So he's not interested in playing right now. I was like, hey, you want to play a couple games? He's like, no, absolutely not. Another guy messaged me online and was talking to me about, his gripes with it and how you can immediately tell, all right, because granted, it's alpha, all right, we got money to play with it. Cool, let's put that out there. You can immediately tell the difference between a Rehgar who doesn't have it and a Rehgar who does. Mm-hmm. It is huge. I did a couple games on Uther without. Then I went and took abilities that like boosted my healing and recovery rate and stuff like that. Huge night and day differences. It was ridiculous. So I see it turning a lot of people away because it's already happened. I've already seen at least 4 people not want to play the game because of it. Will it make or break? It's really hard to say. I'm gonna have to deal with it because I love the game and I want to play the game. And it's exactly what the concept itself is what I want. At least the game itself, but make or break is a really, really tough topic to kind of go in on that, especially with it being the alpha. Mm-hmm. If it was, late beta and it was a little bit more refined, I do agree with Josh. By no means do I think this is the final version of it. I kind of hope they scrap it, but I'm curious to see what the next iteration of it's going to be.
David, what do you think? Did you get around to play around with it? How many of them were you able to unlock? Stuff like that.
Well, I was able to unlock up to, I guess, level 10 gem on my Witch Doctor. However, my Witch Doctor build's been so messed up by changes we'll mention later, I couldn't really tell, to be perfectly honest. I felt worse, but I'm sure that wasn't because of the artifacts. I mean, Ben's points, I mean, I've certainly seen it in the community, and I've heard it, and I know it's out there, and I know it's real. And the anecdotes he's saying about his friends are definitely reflected in the feedback. Personally, I don't see it really. I don't understand why it's such a big deal. But you guys are more experienced MOBA players than me, and so for me, I don't see why this, building towards making your hero better is such a big deal. But I mean, I sound like I'm at the very least not in the majority on this. So I mean, you have to respect the community, and the community doesn't like it. But I mean, this is again part of testing. So maybe better to find out now rather than patch 1.1 or whatever of Heroes of the Storm when they come out and announce it. I mean, it makes. I think we're not even in beta at this point. So if you're gonna, I hope people are not out there saying I will never play this game because they've introduced this mechanic in technical alpha.
Well, there are. There are people saying that.
Before it's ever, tons of time before it's going to be released. I mean, maybe they just might take it out. It would have been like quitting, Adam. It would have been like you quitting the game months ago because you didn't like how Tyrael was set up.
Right.
Like it's
which we didn't, and now he's my favorite. Like exactly. That's a great point.
I like I said, I understand people. I mean, and the feedback I'm sure is really good for Blizzard to say, hey, this is not what I'm signing up for. But I'm sure that what they're also doing is kind of gauging. Maybe there's a lot of League players who are looking for that complexity, and in the end, it's all about math, right? If they get X amount of League players to come, and it's X minus one other players that don't like it, well, then it's whoever they're going to attract the most people with in the end.
Here's the thing that ties into the League thing is the conversation they had. Trying to answer a question in the Q&A was about cookie cutter builds.
That was my friend who asked.
They're introducing more options to try to stray away from cookie cutter builds, and honestly, it's just not going to happen. It's going to be the exact same thing that's in League right now. You go to, I forget what the sites are called now, but you can go to sites and you can look up builds on the different champions. Depending on what the current meta of the game is, there's always going to be that optimum build, and people are going to cookie cutter that build, and that's all you're going to see in ranked play. And that's what you're going to see in the tournaments when this goes. I mean, let's be real, it's going to go esports. I mean,
yeah.
There's a huge enough.
More than likely, though, I won't go to esports with this in it.
So, see, this is the thing that I feel about these artifacts. I like the fact that there is going to be an out-of-game way of kind of customizing. So, say we're in a match, it's what do you call it, the picks and bans, and I see the other team has, 2 assassins. Then I'm like, okay, with my Tyrael, I'm going to go with a little more of a DPS, more damage dealing, artifact slots, we'll say. Now, if they were to pick, say, 3 assassins, I might go for a more defensive one. I think it adds a couple choices kind of to that, character select screen on what you want to do, because what I feel like people are getting mad about, it's like it's a cookie cutter. Now when you go into it's a cookie cutter build. Now when you go into the match, you can still change your options. It's not giving you less options when you're in the match. It's an addition to what you're doing. So now you go into the match, you thought you wanted to be more DPS focused as a warrior because of certain situation that's going on, and then all of a sudden you're like, man, I need to be a little more defensive. So now you can build defensive in match. So I don't see it being a bad thing.
All right. So everything that you described right there, was that from a ranked esports view, or was that from I'm just going to play casually as a versus?
I would say for me, considering I haven't played professional, I'd like to see that in a professional way. You're like, okay, what team comp do they have?
Okay, so my rebuttal to that is going to be, if we were, all right, and again, I can be the fun Ben that's like, hey, let's just do whatever we want to do because we're friends and we're just hanging out. Or I can
like
be
fun Ben.
Or I could be that Ben that goes back to his Counter-Strike 1.6 days and 12-hour scrims every night and blah blah. Anyways, if we were doing that in a competitive setting and you were on my team and you were like, all right, well, I think I'm gonna go for a DPS Tyrael. If I could reach to the computer and smack you, I would.
But here's the thing.
No, hold on.
I'm sorry.
Because I would be like, no, this is what we're going to do. We want these two assassins to cover our DPS range, and you are going to play Tyrael as a warrior to soak damage and initiate. You are not going to worry about DPSing. Your job is to soak, and these guys are going to kill. Because that's what happens in the esports realm. Mm-hmm. When you're playing at the competitive level, people have specific jobs and specific roles that they play. Yes, they need to be versatile, but they're not going to sit there and be like, oh, I'm going to take this tank and I'm just going to like go DPS-y because I can, when we have these other two guys who are purely going to be DPS glass cannons.
Mm-hmm. And I definitely see your point there. But I'm hoping, and because of the different maps and the different ways the heroes are built, that people aren't going to go for automatically like 2 assassin, 1 support, 1 warrior, 1 specialist, build. And when you see what they bring to the table, like maybe, usually there's 3 assassins for some reason on this map, and they only bring that second one. You don't need as much defense, so extra defense would actually hurt you. So you add the extra damage just because the extra defense isn't there. Like, I'm hoping that is a viable option. And like you said, it could lead into cookie cutters, and you have to do it one way. But I'm being hopeful that you can do stuff like this.
And I totally get that. Yeah, and nobody wants to break the mold more than me. Mm-hmm. I hate the idea of metas, but I unfortunately have to deal with it. I hate the idea of cookie cutters, but I have to deal with it. Mm-hmm. And I hope we break and shatter that mold with this game somehow, some way. I just don't think the artifact system is the way of doing it.
Yeah.
Do you think with esports, just the normal talent system alone that's in there, you think that'll go into be the cookie cutter, or does that give you more of a?
I think it's already cookie cutter right now, honestly, because I have cookie cutter builds of my own, which I don't go online. I haven't been looking at what other people do and like comparing it. I've seen what other people do from all the Twitch that I watch, but I have my own way that I build Uther that works for me. So essentially, he's cookie cutter to me. Mm-hmm. I only play him one way when I'm with a certain composition. When I'm with a team of people who just want to yell at each other, then I basically just run around doing my own thing and playing the objectives while they yell on the base at each other. But the talent system right now, no. But I don't think artifacts are exactly the correct direction, at least in its current iteration. So I'm just not a fan.
I think too. I mean, it's all expectations and what we expect out of the game. I mean, you're talking from a very ranked, maybe not hardcore, but pretty hardcore esports point of view. And Blizzard has been really wishy-washy in terms of, do they want this to be an esport? Do they want this to be a serious esport? Or do they want it to be a fun game? I mean, the quote that they keep coming up with is like, oh, well, we're going to see what the community decides if it's going to. I mean, I don't believe that for a second. There's no way that the community, if McDonald's comes out with a new sandwich, they're not like, oh, maybe people will put it in their mouth. Maybe they'll put it in their pants. I don't know. Like, they're going to like... They know exactly what they're aiming for. They know what they want to do, and they've got to have a plan about it. And I in a way, and I love Blizzard. I love their communications. I wish they would plant their flag down and say, we are going to be a very competitive esport. We're going to be out there competing with Dota 2. We're going to be out there competing with League of Legends. Because right now, it just sort of feels like they're hedging their bets a little bit, so that way, if it doesn't take off like those two, that they can say, oh, well, yeah, it's just for casual. Like, it's, it's just like, yeah, it's a fun game. Yeah, we don't have those kind of numbers. It's still a Blizzard success. Right. People are still signing up. We're still making money off it. Like, if you're going to go for, because this artifacts thing feels like they are getting closer to putting their flag down. But as we've seen, it's also alienated all the people who thought it was going to be a different type of MOBA, different, type of feel to it.
Mm. Ben, if you'd like, I will let you have the last comment on this section, and then we'll move on.
I was just going to tie into what David said. Mm-hmm. I completely feel what he's trying to say. The way you do separate that is you have your ranked mode, which allows you to build teams inside the I think personally there should be a team building interface in the game where I can pick my players, build my roster, and then we as a team accumulate an MMR and we go up and we have a certain rating, and then that could go into like online qualifiers for tournaments, like whatever. We'll talk about that later, but and then there should be a tab, maybe not says versus, it should say casual, and you click on it, and then you have your casual modes.
Yep.
Where like it's just random versus, and you could get paired up with a dude who's like 5 years old, or you could get paired up with In Control from Team Evil Geniuses. It doesn't matter.
But if that's the case, why is everybody losing their mind then? Like, why is everybody losing? If there could be like a totally separate type of thing for that group and a totally separate type of
just because we're not there yet, and we don't know if it's ever going to... I mean, there's a lot of talk of it, but we don't know if it's ever going to actually happen. I mean, it should, by all means, happen, yes, but we don't know if it will or not. If this one versus, like the way it is now, is the way that the game is going to play, period, and there's not going to be like a ranked mode and all that other stuff, like, and they just yank it out, then it's going to be some rough territory.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to move on. I'm going to hit some quick little points. Some art updates, which are pretty cool. All of Tyrael skins got art updates. So I could tell right away he looked less like thin with them, if that makes sense, guys. Like almost like he was like actually like a strong character. Before he looked a little thin, and that's because I've looked at it so many times for Tyrael. But you know, Uther, Zeratul, Diablo, Gazlo, and Vala all kind of got art rework, which was really, really cool. They got those visual improvements. We have more music, so new sounds and new music has been added throughout the game. And let's see what else. Underdog bonus has been changed slightly. It's more granular, so it's like if you're, rather than being a level difference, it's like if you're a half level difference, you get a little more XP for killing someone who's higher than you. Battlegrounds, just a slight amount of splash damage changed to the core. And then look, we're going to just get right into talents and heroes. So what we're going to do is, David, what talents and hero kind of changes kind of stood out for you?
Okay. Well, I mean, they've removed the generic talents, which were Path of the Assassin, Path of the Warrior, Path of the Wizard. You know, those were all kind of super generic talents.
Killer.
And Minion Killer. Yeah, I mean, I know this probably wasn't one a lot of people were taking. This was kind of a really important part of my Witch Doctor build, which was the build that I was playing the most with, which was basically running around, you know, killing mercs, trying to get XP, but mostly killing mercs. And the big part of that was being able to jump in and start taking siege giants, you know, as early as level 4. So what they've done, at least for Witch Doctor, they've just given him kind of that Gazlo ability at level 7, where you can kill the mercs, but they're stronger mercs after you kill them. The problem with that, at least from a Witch Doctor point of view, is that's also the level where you get Gidbin, which is like a really nice overall damage boost. So, I mean, I've played around with it a couple of times today, and boy, it feels a lot different. I think it's probably, though, for the best for the game, because I mean I've joked around with you guys before. It's like a lot of games I've really felt like I was PvE, and I was just really running around just killing mercs and killing siege giants, and you know, as early as level 4, which is literally minutes into the game, I was just, you know, out of the game essentially. That I'd be popping back in occasionally, but pretty rarely. So I think this definitely strikes me as a talent where they are really saying that they're not interested in just kind of merc killing builds. Adam, I know Gazlo, that this is a big part of him as well, right?
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. I have played him once since this, and it's just not the same. You know, before, you know, it was very like set, like especially on Blackheart Bay, where I've been getting it a lot. You know, level 2, you start taking out, you know, the pirates. Level 4, you go after siege giants, and now you can't really do that without having to kill one set of siege giants, going back, getting everything, you know, filling your life up, and then coming down again. You know, it's just not as quick, and it slows it down. I think obviously that's what they were going for. You know, I think they saw too much Gazlo, and probably Witch Doctor just almost completely changing the tide of games by taking out these minions. And the mercenaries are supposed to be bonuses, not game changers, I think. You know, like if you know what I'm saying. Like, they should help you win, but they shouldn't be the only reason you win. Because there were some games out there where I was just able to control mercenaries and win the game because the other team couldn't keep up with the mercenaries getting sent over.
Yeah, yeah, no, I absolutely. I mean, and all these other generic ones were so dead boring. I don't blame them for taking out like Path of the Assassin and things like that.
Right.
I mean, they've added new ones to replace them, and the one that really jumped out at me was the Seasoned Marksman one, where you gain +1 basic attack damage for every 5 minions killed, but only if they're damaged by basic attacks within moments of their death will it count, which sounds a lot like another MOBA.
It's
That
last hitting.
for a little bit.
Pretty much, more or less. Yep. And well, we might as well hit the other new generic ones. David, if you want to just kind of go through.
Sure. We've also got Conjurer's Pursuit. You gather 3 regeneration globes to permanently gain 0.25 mana regeneration. It's a stacking effect. Scouting Drone places a flying drone at the target location, which reveals a large area and any cloaked heroes around it for 60 seconds. The drone can be seen and destroyed by enemies. And another new talent, level 4, Gathering Power. Passively grants +8% ability power, which sounds pretty sweet. Each hero takedown grants an additional 2% ability power up to a maximum of 12%. The bonus is lost on death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I like them. The Conjurer's Pursuit is in line with the health regeneration one that they already have. That I believe it's what Diablo and your tankier heroes do have. So it's pretty cool. There's other changes to levels that you get, talents, but I don't think those are too important. Just kind of mixing it up and changing your builds around. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, you can go.
No, maybe this is something I should talk about later. But I mean, there's a lot of changes in this patch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to save it till later to touch on it when we've gone through everything, just like in terms of an overall view.
Yep.
But I'm just going to say there's a lot of changes in this patch, more than I would expect.
Yeah. So for hero changes, let's Ben, which hero changes kind of stuck out for you? Do you think they were warranted? What are your thoughts?
The biggest change that I noticed directly was Tychus, because I play Tychus a lot. His Lead Rain talent, which directly affects his Q ability, was basically cut entirely in half. The slow amount used to be 40% and the duration used to be 3 seconds. Now it's 20% and down to 1.5 seconds. That was a primary crucial thing in how you kept people near you to fight. Because with Tychus, you have to channel your attacks, essentially. It's not just a pop shot. And when I was playing him, huge night and day differences between the old one. People were easily getting away when I'm trying to slow them down so I can jump on top of them or let my team get on top of them. They're just slipping right away. So there was no other CC there to keep them in place. They're gone. The frag grenade took a little bit of change. It increased the radius of the frag grenade by 25%. It was helpful, wasn't as big and noticeable, but the biggest thing was Lead Rain talent got nerfed in half, and I always take that talent. So that kind of really hurt me big time. I don't feel like it was necessary because I never got into a match and felt like Tychus was beyond overpowered. I've gone head-to-head with Tychus a bunch, and I've played him a bunch. I never felt like I was stupid overpowered, and I never felt like the Tychus I was playing against was stupid overpowered.
Josh, anything that really stuck out to you?
Since I mainly only play a certain amount of heroes, not that many, one that I really noticed was Zagara's. Her Bailings have a little bit more leeway around corners, which is nice because I can't tell you how many times I've just missed somebody because I hit a corner of a building or structure or something like that. So I'm glad that worked. I haven't messed with it yet. And then also the Hydralisk movement increased by 10%, which was great because I hated the fact that you use this ability, and the little guy couldn't catch up to the enemy. So I'm glad that they're working on that, and I'm surprised with her being a new hero. That was all they really did with her too. So I'm guessing that she's probably getting right around where they want her to be, which is usually good.
Mm-hmm.
That was the main thing for me.
I was going to say, compare it to the
Murky.
beating. It was like 5 bats that came out and just started beating the tar out of Murky this patch. I mean, oh god, like I don't think he's useful at all anymore. Like
I haven't seen him in the matches I've played. I think I've seen one, but he wasn't trying to backdoor anybody.
yeah, it's like he does. Was it? There's no increased damage to structures anymore for his pufferfish. However, the pufferfish does do more damage now. It's harder to kill the pufferfish by 1 additional attack. So instead of doing 2 attacks, it's 3. The area of effect is increased, so it's a little bigger. So it's with the pufferfish, it's like the structure damage is just normal now. It's like everybody else, you deal regular damage to structures. So there's definitely no backdooring at this point. At least the way they used to be able to do it, because you need to rely on people not finding your egg 4 times as much at this point. I mean, that's just couldn't believe there was such a change made to Murky at this point. Marcher of the Murlocs now only does 50% damage to structures, so it's just a complete like, hey Murky, you're not going after structures anymore. Sorry, man. Like the whole point of all these abilities that you had, not anymore. I was super surprised at this change. Another change was a Tyrande. If you kind of look at kind of the changes that were made to her, a lot of new talents, but they're really trying to push that Shadow Stalk. I feel like they've definitely bumped it up a little bit more as an option to what was it? I keep wanting to call it like Moonfire, but
Lunar Flare.
Lunar Flare, yeah. So like they obviously aren't seeing enough people take Shadow Stalk as they want, so they kind of gave that a bonus and gave her new talents that we're gonna have to get in there and kind of play with to really see how those new talents work out. David, any hero that stands out for you?
Well, I mean, I already done my complaining about the Witch Doctor. Like I said, I think it's kind of messed up that particular build, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to be a bad thing. Not any particular hero, to be perfectly honest. I'm going to kind of come back to what I was starting to mention before. With so many changes, I have a hard time understanding how they're gonna figure out the balancing on this, in the sense that, okay, we've made a million changes, but now something's out of whack. What change that we made it out of whack? Like it's such a complete overhaul. Like I could have seen some of the changes to the generic talents and seeing how that worked out. I don't really understand why we have to change every single hero as well, it seems like, constantly. I mean, I would have thought that maybe, change the talents. I mean, maybe some of the changes have to be made, for just to replace some of them with the heroes. But I just feel like it's so overwhelming at this point that, again, to use Hearthstone as an example, it'd be like, okay, we're throwing out all the cards. We're going to make a change to all the cards, and we're going to see what happens. Like, I'm a little surprised that there's this much to the patch, especially considering there's a fair amount of hero changes last time around. Almost everyone was touched last time around. So I wonder how, if everything keeps moving, how do you really know what's working and what's not when you make a change?
Oh no, yeah, but it's like still being in Techno Alpha. I think every patch we're going to see these big changes, because they're like, oh, change this a little bit, change that a little bit. I mean, even with Tyrael, he's getting dangerously close to what I would consider an assassin, because they're constantly giving him damage increases. Like his 2 primary abilities, Smite and Eldruin's Might, both got what I would consider buffs in terms of damage. Eldruin's Might now no longer does damage when you kind of teleport to it, but now you can throw it and then not have to teleport it to do full damage. But like you said, it is a lot of changes. Like, what's going to cause the problem? What's keeping it unbalanced right now? We don't know.
I mean, how can we have an overhaul on Illidan every single patch? Like, Illidan again has got a bunch of changes this time around.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like they don't know what they want to do with Illidan. Are you getting that feeling? That's why they're making so many changes?
Yeah, but that's a little scary, because it's like this isn't like... It's not Murky. I mean, it's Illidan. You should know what you want to do with Illidan. I mean, it's a major guy, right?
From Black Temple.
I mean, I mean, what? So we have an exact vision of what we want in Brightwing, but we haven't figured out Illidan yet. I mean, that's from a lore perspective that drives me batty. Like, you figure it out, you know?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Do they want like Illidan like early on, or they want Illidan, Black Temple like?
Black Temple Illidan, that's my vote. But hey,
Well, I thought that's what Metamorphosis is supposed to be, right? Is like full out Black Temple Illidan. I thought that was kind of the idea, but I don't know. Again, I'm not a game developer. Maybe this is all makes perfect sense, and this is exactly it. It seems like the ground shifts so much, and maybe that's complaining from someone who's in a technical alpha and should be ready for it. I struggle to understand how they can figure out that the nerf to or Abathur, and the buff to Abathur is really working when we've done a million changes everywhere else. Like, okay.
Hey, it's alpha. Let's break it.
Yeah,
And that's
it was so bad.
I just think that we're just not used to seeing
the stage of development.
Yeah, because no
Yeah.
one's usually in alphas like this early in like streaming and all this topic stuff. So I think we're just not used to seeing it, and this stuff probably happens all the time everywhere. It's just that no one talks about it. But here, Blizzard's like, here's this game. Everyone talk about it and everything that we're doing to it. This is it.
Right. You don't see that.
I would have been
with alphas.
perfectly okay with them just holding Murky down on the bed and beating him with socks full of snow.
They use sacks of oranges because they don't want the bruises to show.
That's right. Until like Murky's sitting there in the washroom with a rifle or something like that. Just,
And I think was it Dustin Browder, which is weird because he got rid of his goatee. It kind of threw me off. I didn't think it was him.
know.
When he mentioned, he's like, we could get 100 hours of playtesting in a week if we really pushed it. But considering we're doing it the way we're doing it, we get 100 hours of playtest in 20 minutes. The way that he put that, it was like, wow. It's like they're really going with a new way of testing, and it's fun to see like big changes. But obviously they must have something that like tells them what changes they're doing. What, like, Tyrael used to be able to take out Illidan in 5 minutes. Now he takes him out in 4.5 minutes. But Illidan has a better chance of running away now. Like all these crazy stats that we don't get to see because they have a spreadsheet back in the back end that tells you everything.
yeah, I mean, but even to what I was saying, like they've added artifacts in this patch. So how are they going to know how artifacts affect everything if we've changed every hero? You know what I mean? Like
That's
they
what
have
we're doing.
they have no baseline to compare it to.
That's what we're doing. That's what we're for.
Yeah.
We test that. They see the numbers and then they'll tweak it. It's like they don't have to do
Yeah.
really any internal testing other than is this going to make the game crash?
It's
Yeah,
like,
well, I leave it to them.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like to me, at least. I mean, I could be wrong, but it seems like we're the game testers,
Right.
the free game testers right now.
Oh no, absolutely. I'm just like I would think keep everything the same and then add the artifacts and then see how it blows up the game or it doesn't. Right now, there's nothing you can compare pre-patch to post-patch. So I've got full artifacts on my Arthas, but you've changed something. So I don't know how it affects it because you've changed that other part as well. You know what I mean? Does
Yeah.
that sound crazy?
the one thing that it's like almost like, say, artifacts are in. We spend the next 2.5, 3 months testing artifacts. They decide to pull the game. I feel like that pushes us back 3 months. So, say they keep that long. It's almost like there's definitely going to be an outside the game kind of buffing / customization of your hero. And whether or not it's artifacts is the final solution, there's going to be something like that. Otherwise, all these weeks of testing artifacts is going to be like useless and push us back to where we were. Further pushing out the actual release of the game. Now, I guess before we wrap up the show, this kind of makes me wonder, when are you guys at this point thinking we're going to see some sort of switch over from an alpha to beta? And maybe if you guys dare, an actual release of this game. I feel like it's so far out still.
Oh, yeah.
Ben, what are your kind of thoughts on that?
We're going to talk about beta around BlizzCon. Release. That's a really touchy subject, considering we've been in alpha now for over 4 months. I don't know. It's hard to say, especially with the type of game that we're in. I'd like to see it before the end of the year, but
Like the game by the end of the year, or
the actual game. But we don't need to rush it.
I almost feel like it's like another year before we're going to see this game released.
Here's the thing though, like, okay, so we've talked about like balance changes and all this other stuff. The game itself looks beautiful, especially
Right.
for like an alpha, because a lot of stuff in an alpha phase does not look that good. The game plays really well. There are some minor input problems right now with some input lag that they talked about in the Q&A, and I've been noticing that ever since I've been in. Minor bits and pieces of bugs and functionality. That's stuff that normally gets wrapped up in a beta. Balancing and testing happens throughout the entire life cycle of the game. Every single week, League of Legends is reviewed by its balance team, and they constantly fix things. Dota, same way. Every game through its life cycle, when it is in an online competitive environment or has some type of RPG element, constantly goes through balance testing. So I don't think balance itself is going to keep us from a full release. I think it's just the functionality of the game. I think we need to kick it up a notch. We need to start testing more, systems as far as ranked. Start throwing more heroes in the mix. Do it. Get your shop stuff in order. Fix all that stuff. But I don't think balance is going to hold us back.
Josh, what are your thoughts? Timing.
I think beta, BlizzCon as well. I saw a post the other day. Someone asked them about beta, and they said that beta's a really touchy subject because as soon as they make it into beta and all these people come in, since it's going to be connected to all the other Blizzard games, that can cause World of Warcraft to come down. And, that's the one game they do not want to come down because of another game going up. Let Diablo go down, let StarCraft go down, but don't let World of Warcraft go down because that's their, that's their cash cow. So that's something I did see that they were worried about, and so that's why they're kind of slowly letting a little amount of people in at a time. So I think by BlizzCon, that'll probably be a good announcement to have for BlizzCon. Say, starting next week, open beta, blah, 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 something like that. As for release dates, next year sometime if we're lucky, but I mean, we're already in it, so I don't care when it gets released, honestly. Because,
Yeah, but we have to worry about the listeners, the people who aren't in it yet. Don't care about just
they
yourself, Josh.
They'll get in the beta. They'll get in the beta. But I mean, look how long Dota 2 was in beta. That was like, what, 2 years? 3 years? So, I mean, I can see this game staying in beta until at least probably mid next year. Because I don't think they really have anything announced for next year.
Right. David, what do you think real quick, and then we're
I'm going to make a bold prediction. I'm going to say the game itself will be released by BlizzCon 2015.
Okay.
So it'll be probably, I'm going to say it's going to go into beta, I would guess February, March. But I think it's going to be similar to the rollout of Hearthstone, whereas by the time it's launched, most people are in the game anyway.
Yeah.
And I also think it's going to be a very exciting, like, come on, Ranked is going to start. It'll be the first season of Heroes of the Storm. Like they'll make a much bigger deal of it than they did with Hearthstone. But I think in terms of people getting in the game, I think by then most of the people who want to be in the game at that point will be in the game, and just the people who haven't really heard about it until the big hoo-ha of launching the game, that's when they're going to get all those new people in it as well. But I think until I can see a patch where Illidan hasn't been completely overhauled, I am not even thinking of beta at this point.
Okay, I think that's going to do it for our show today.
You've got one quick question.
Okay.
Whenever it does go live and stuff like that, how cool is it going to be? This is a nerdy cool to say, oh yeah, well, we've been in since day one of Tech Alpha.
Yeah.
Beat that, suckers.
And then Ben goes to Columbus and smacks you in the back of the head. Bam.
You can go to
Yeah,
Columbus,
guys, you guys just got in. Well, we've been in it for 2 years, 30 days, and 57 minutes.
That's right.
Man, well, I want to thank everybody for listening. Josh, I'll let you go first today. Where can people find you? What type of stuff you've been up to?
You can find me on Twitter at Pakawan_AIE. It's spelled PAKKUAN. then _AIE. And you can also check out my World of Warcraft podcast. We just released episode 10. It's laststandradio.com.
Awesome. David, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter at BrillanCTR, BRILLAAN CTR. Even I don't know how to spell it. I've also got some articles up at CatalystGamingMedia.com as well.
And Ben, if you can let people know how they can contact Casual Ben and how they can contact Hardcore Esport Ben separately, just so they know who they're talking to.
That's gonna be a rough one because I haven't split those personalities yet.
It's like low gosh and variant.
They all got one online portal to reach both, so hopefully you get the one you want, right?
Yeah, so you can reach both Bens at Stacks and Paks on Twitter. It's STAKSNPAKS. Just designate which one you're trying to talk to, whether it's casual or hardcore, and then I'll differentiate my response based upon that. And it's mainly it. Just hit me up on Twitter if you want to play like Heroes or anything. You can get my battle tag, and then keep a lookout for if the day ever comes when they implement ranked and tournaments and stuff. So that way, Adam can announce our team tryouts, and I can coach and yell at people, and we can be like super fun time and stuff.
And that's Hardcore Ben.
That'll be hardcore Ben. I'll try to like sprinkle some nice Ben in there, but it is probably gonna be hardcore Ben.
You know what it'll be? It'll be good cop, bad cop, you and me. You guys can figure it out.
I thought you were going to say they're both him, like Gollum or something.
You can reach me directly at Geek of Random on Twitter, or you can directly reach the show at the Nexus Podcast. Send any questions, feedback to show@heroesofthenexus.com. For all of you listening through iTunes and Stitcher, leave us your comments there. We'd love to read, kind of what you put, whether you give us 1 star or 4 stars. We'd like to know what we can do to make it better. And also, come watch us live, twitch.tv/Heroes of the Nexus. We go live every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 7 Pacific for those of you in the nice weather of California. And, go to patreon.com/The Nexus, help out our show. Anything that you can do to help us out, we appreciate. We're proud members of Catalyst Gaming Media. Go there for more bloggers, podcasters, videos, David's writing, everything. That's catalystgamingmedia.com. Thank you all for coming again. Thank you for listening. We'll see you all inside of the Nexus. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Good night and take care.
And you can stop the recording. Awesome.
Hey, chat room.
I think I'm going to introduce Ben as our very own Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from now on.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Should have the 2 Twitter accounts for Ben. One of his icons would be like a happy, fun-going Ben, and the other icon would be angry Ben.
You got to pay $9 for the
No.
Counter-Strike Ben skin.
It's not an angry Ben. It's
That would be so awesome if that was in the game.
What?
Hey, Bullet. Everyone got quiet.
I know, right? That was kind of creepy.
My wife is just pointing
that
out
was
the
weird.
fact that supernatural stuff is going on at Comic-Con and we're not there.
Like actual supernatural stuff?
No, like the TV show.
TV
See,
show.
my
That'd be
brother
cool.
for our wedding is sending us to Comic-Con. The only problem is he's having trouble getting tickets for us to go to Comic-Con. Well, yeah, my brother's friends with Chris Evans, so my wife
Oh,
is...
no way.
Yeah. So my wife's like, why doesn't he just get tickets from Captain America himself?
He needs to give me his autograph. I'm a huge Chris Evans fan.
Yeah, so
Chris Evans rocks.
yeah, my brother
Yes.
when he went to college, his like roommates and best friends went to high school with Chris Evans. So Chris Evans used to hang out at the she's pointing out Comic-Con stuff. So Chris Evans used to come over like all the time and hang out, and Jessica Biel was dating Chris Evans at the time. So they actually had a spot on the couch that was like Jessica Biel's spot, and nobody else could sit there because it would ruin the sanctity of Jessica Biel's, I guess, like
Couch implant.
couch
imprint?
imprint of her butt or something. Who knows? And so like it's so funny because they would go to Vegas with him and stuff, and I'm like, I want to go. Like, how can I not get into a premiere of a Captain America movie because I know a guy who knows him? Like, I'm related to a guy who knows him. Actually, that's even better.
Did you get to meet him ever?
No. Every time I went up to Boston to hang out with my brother, Chris Evans didn't show up.
Sounds like a made up story. Actually.
I know it does.
Yeah.
It's like,
He does know
like
him.
my
Wait,
girlfriend in Niagara Falls.
There's never been you and Chris Evans in the same room.
We're the same person. No, I'm just kidding.
I knew it.
No, because actually, if you look it up, Chris Evans is from the Lincoln Sudbury area of Massachusetts, which is like rich people area, and that's where all my brother's friends are from college. So it matches up. My facts are there.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
But yeah, so we've been dying to go for like, this will be the third year that he wasn't able to get tickets, and he said he's going to pay for tickets, flight, and hotel for us to go to Comic-Con. So I'm like, by the time this happens, my daughter's going to be old enough where we're going to have to take her with us. Otherwise she'll like tell the story of how we left her at home when we went to Comic-Con.
There's a Captain Canuck.
Yeah.
It's our Captain America.
Great.
Yeah, he sucks.
I was going to say, it was like
I remember in the 70s, it was like our attempt at Captain America. He was pretty terrible.
he can never get anything done because he's too busy apologizing every time he punches somebody in the face.
It was
like,
terrible.
sorry.
I don't even remember what it was. The artwork sucked. I remember that. Captain Canuck. I remember that. Well, actually, Wolverine is kind of like our Captain America. So
Wolverine's your
take
Captain
that.
Canuck.
We'll take that.
He's from Canada.
We had
Well-
Alpha Flight. I can't complain.
Yeah, so I'm going to take the stream down because I'm going to play some Heroes now because I haven't played as much as I'd like. You guys are free to join me. Thank you again in the chat room for coming. We enjoy your company.
I don't.
Bye,
Just
Captain.
kidding.
Goodbye, everyone.
Good night, guys.
See ya.